Hey there everyone, this is an introduction on something new coming to my channel. So far we've seen the Atari 2600 games, we've seen the Nintendo, we've seen Super Nintendo, we've seen one Sega Master System game, a few Sega Genesis games, and Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, and a couple games on the PC. Now we're going to be showing some new games, the Game Boy. Now I don't have a whole lot of games for this yet, but this is actually the original Game Boy that I had as a kid back when I was probably about 13 or 14 years old. This actually came out in '89, 4 years after the Nintendo was released, and pretty much the purpose of the Game Boy was so you could have a portable video game system you could take with you. It ran on 4 AA batteries, and the games were really small. As we can see, we got Tetris here. Now this is the actual Tetris game I used to have when I was a kid. You slide them right into the back of the slot right there, and you got the on-off switch here on top. And the controls are pretty much just like the basic NES controllers. You got directional buttons, select, start, B and A. On the side you have this little plug-in where it's an AC adapter. You could plug your Game Boy into the wall if you didn't want to drain batteries. Here's a contrast button, I guess, to focus it in, which is something we don't have problems with these days. You got your volume button here on the side, and this right here is a connector where you can connect 2 Game Boys together and play 2 players. My sister and I both had our own Game Boy. One of the games I had was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan. This isn't the actual one that I had back then, though. I just recently ordered this one on eBay. My sister had Home Alone, and we both had Tetris. And this is actually one of the original Tetris games that I had as a kid. I'm not sure if it was mine or my sister's. Same with the Game Boy. I'm not sure if this was mine or hers, but unfortunately this Game Boy doesn't work anymore. I just put 4 batteries in and tried it, and it wouldn't work, but it's been laying in a box somewhere for like over 20 years. So I guess it's probably been gotten banged around a few times, got dust in it. It looks like I'm pretty sure there's a gray cover that's supposed to be over this part right here that looks like it's missing. But just because this Game Boy doesn't work doesn't mean that we won't get to be seeing Game Boy games on my channel, because even if this Game Boy did work, it'd be too hard to record off a screen this small. So that's why I got the Super Game Boy cartridge. Now this, you just slide your games right into the top, and goes right into a Super Nintendo video game system. And you can play with your original Super NES controllers, and it looks pretty much the same on your TV screen as it would on the Game Boy screen. Unfortunately, the Game Boy games didn't have color. They're all black and yellow, but they're still pretty fun for the time. So those are some of the games we're going to be seeing: Fall of the Foot Clan, Tetris. I also ordered Home Alone. Those are the only 3 games I've ever played on the Game Boy. I never really played the Game Boy that much as a kid because we had the Nintendo and eventually the Super Nintendo, so the only time I really played my Game Boy is if we ever went on trips somewhere. So that's the only games we ever had for it, was those 3, and I'm pretty sure those are the only 3 I ever played in my life. I might have rented some before that I don't remember, but anyway, I still plan on buying some more, and we'll just keep on playing games. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy. That's pretty much all the games I'm focusing on right now. Maybe eventually when we get to a certain point, we'll start seeing some more like N64 games. I want to do some Sega Genesis games eventually. I have to get a Genesis yet, but just thought I'd introduce what's coming to the channel here pretty soon. Also got some more Nintendo games. I got Contra, which I'm pretty excited to be doing that, and I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2, which should be coming sometime soon. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one, which will probably actually be the Game Boy game here, Fall of the Foot Clan. The Contra game that I got, I want to do some practice on that because that was a pretty big game, so I'm going to do some practice on that and get good at it. So Hope you enjoyed this little introduction to the Game Boy games, and I'll see you in the next video.